Motivation.
That's right.
Welcome to Will Motivation. Holla.
All right, what's up, everybody? Will Motivation here. Got up early this morning to go check out a potential investment property. I'm looking at it primarily as a possible flip, but it could also be a rental. But man, it's cold, raining, and icy. Anyway, man, look at that ice. We're gonna go do what we gotta do. Yo. All right, look at my window. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I don't really want to be out here in this weather. But sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Because if this is a flip, and it's you know, worth my time, the way I'm looking at the numbers, it could potentially make $30,000 or $40,000 pretty quickly, like 2 or 3 months. So, but look at this ice. So let me figure out how I'm gonna get this ice off my windows. Yeah, I did that. All right,
take
so
the next right onto McAllister Avenue.
So we're getting close to the property, and I want you guys to take a look at this neighborhood. It's not like the hood.
Take the next left onto Rose Place, then arrive at your
It's kind of like
destination
what I expected, more or less. There's a lot of little houses over here that I would say are in the like what he's asking for this house, which is $80,000, is exactly what these houses look like. Maybe 90, maybe 100.
You are approaching your destination.
So, you know, now I see some investors. It look like some other investors may be here. But 130,000, I don't know about that, like,
you
so
have
far.
reached your destination.
So this looks like that's it. Yeah. So let me figure out where I'm gonna park at. All right, so I'm not gonna take my regular camera in here because I don't know if they got a problem with me videotaping. But I'm gonna shoot with my my iPhone here. See if I can get some footage for you guys. So let's see what it looks like. All right, so I'm walking into the house and kind of looking in. That's like the living room area. This is like the front door area. I walked into the garage, and the first thing that struck me is how small the house is. Everybody likes open concept right now, and this is definitely not open concept. This is like a split level type style. You got to go upstairs. That's a little tiny eat-in kitchen area, and then here's the actual kitchen. I mean, they tried to do a rehab on it. It's like, okay, of course it's a little cluttered with the stuff in there, but I'm just looking around at the finishings and I'm like, am I gonna work with this stuff or am I gonna have to tear everything out? Then, you know, there's a bunch of investors swarming the house looking thirsty, so that kind of turned me off, because usually when I'm looking at a house, I'm the only one. This is a nice big bathroom, but it's not, other than the size of the bathroom, it's not all that impressive. You know, it doesn't look like it needs a whole lot of work, but okay, you got one bathroom. Of course, I wanted to see, okay, there's a little bit of water damage there at the floor, nothing major. You know, it's like, okay, this is all right. It's not super impressive. So where the bedrooms at? So this is like the master bedroom right here. It's right beside the bathroom. It's tiny. I didn't even want to go in there because there's somebody else in there. That's the living room where you come in the house. Like, this is the main living room. It's so tiny that, like, I would say it was less than a 10 by 10. So I went upstairs. So these are the other 2 bedrooms in the house. Tiny bedrooms inside the attic space. And I was like, okay, for me, this was it. Like, okay, I'm not about to pull the roof up and make it bigger, but you see how small it is. Like, it's tiny. And then this is the other bedroom. Tiny, man. It looked like a little. I mean, you can't work with that.
Nope.
To make a $130,000 house, you can't work with that. So this really turned me off about the house. So then I went down to the basement. I'm like, okay, maybe there's some more bedrooms or something. I get down to the basement. There's raw basement area, which is to be expected. It's a bunch of storage space, basically, and it's partially finished. Nothing there to see that's going to make me want to invest. So let's break it down.
Okay, so I took a quick look. So a couple of things turned me off about this property. Number one, too many investors. So it could drive the price up potentially. I might make a lowball offer on it. But number two, I don't know if you guys are paying attention, but second thing was, let me get to the car because I met the guy who's the wholesaler, and I don't want him to think I'm just coming up here just to play around. But I'm gonna tell you guys what I'm not feeling about that property and the value. All right, so let me tell you guys the issue I have with this property. So I have some experience with real estate, but even before I had any experience at all, my mind frame as an investor was, what is the potential buyer going to think when they come into the house? Is there any possible wow factor? Are there any possible things about the house that would make it hard to sell at a higher price point? So if we're talking about a price point, for me to make this a safe flip, the price point would need to be around 130,000. I didn't see anything that looked like it would be really like a really expensive repair. Of course, you can't see what's underground with the plumbing, so that's always something that you got to budget for, potentially having some plumbing issues, you know. So I didn't see any major repair issues that kind of turned me off about this property. But what turned me off is when I buy a property, especially for a flip, like I'm looking at this more as a flip than a rental property, especially after what I just saw when I went in there. But the biggest thing was that the house felt small and cramped, and the square footage that makes it one of the bigger houses in this neighborhood, that square footage was in sort of what was the second floor or even the third floor. It's like a split level type of design, but I'll call it the second floor, where there were 2 bedrooms upstairs. The way those bedrooms were laid out and how small that house is, it was more like an attic that was converted into bedrooms, and the wow factor is on the wrong side. Like, there's a good wow and there's a bad wow. So there's a wow when you walk in there and you see that and you're like, wow, like really, like gotta deal with this, versus a wow factor when you walk in and you're like, wow, I didn't expect this, in a good way, right? Well, I walked into those upstairs bedrooms and it was wow in a bad way, because it was like converted attic space, and it was small. Like I grew up in a house where we converted the attic space into bedrooms, and it was a big attic space, huge. That attic space right there is a negative, like because you're gonna be looking at the square footage of the house and you're gonna say, wow, square footage is pretty good in this house, especially for this neighborhood where you know, most of the houses are small. But then you get up there and you look at that square footage, you're like, okay, the ceiling is super low, these rooms are super cramped, and nobody's gonna be excited or happy about the design of those rooms. And the design of the house is not open concept. It's not open concept, and all of the rooms were really small. Just not a good, there's not like a major wow selling point to make that the most expensive house in the neighborhood. It's not, the potential is not really there. So that one for me is a negative, because if we did buy it and we did try to sell it for 130,000, it would be one of the most expensive houses in this neighborhood. And looking at this neighborhood, it's not a bad neighborhood, but all of the houses are tiny. Like, I would say the average house probably over here should be like 75,000 at the high end. And so trying to sell a house for 150 grand or 130 grand is a stretch. And the design of that house, it would take too much money to, like, what you would need to do in that house is open up the main floor, and the way it's a split level, you can't really do it easily. And then that upstairs, the ceilings need to be higher because it just feels like a small, cramped up attic space. The basement wasn't even worth looking at. I went down there for a hot second. I wasn't impressed. So there's just not, I don't see the opportunity there to make significant, like I said, if I do a flip, I want to make at least 20 grand, and that's cutting it too close. So not worth my time. Somebody else might be able to pick it up and make 10 grand or something like that, but that's not in my risk category, you know what I mean? So that's my assessment of that particular property. Not excited at all about it, and if I do make an offer, it'll be a low offer. So I'll think about it, and maybe we will, like, say, hey, look, we did the numbers and we can buy this house at 60,000 or something like that. But even with that, it's not that impressive. All right, so that's our little walkthrough of physically evaluating property, the kind of things that I look for. I look for the potential, and right there, that house didn't have a whole lot. Yo, this is Will Motivation. Just wanted to say thanks for checking out this video. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. And also feel free to share this video with your friends and be a part of the movement. I'll check you guys out in the next video. Holla.